How's it going, everyone? NeedleMouse here. Sonic the Hedgehog was in an awful state during the mid-2000s. After Heroes released, 3 Sonic games in a row would be received with absolutely awful scores. The games would be rushed, have questionable decisions. And the nail in the coffin was the back-to-back release of Sonic 06 and Sonic and the Secret Rings, both being quite bad, to say the absolute least. Sega's reputation was down in the drain, and Sonic Team was in a horrendous state. Where do they go from here? How do they recover from such a massive failure? The year is now 2008, and the next mainline Sonic game is coming. The game had a lot riding on it. It could either prove Sonic was not out for the count just yet, or it would prove the critics right in that Sonic was an awful franchise. Sonic Unleashed would release on November 18th, 2008, and when it did, it had mixed reviews. Some people loved it, but many didn't. To a lot of people, Unleashed was proof Sonic could be great, but to many, it was just another piece of crap created by Sonic Team. But me personally, Sonic Unleashed is an absolutely amazing game, to say the least. I love this game, every tiny little bit. From the gameplay, to the music, and yes, to even the Hedgehog. So in today's video, let's talk about how Sonic Unleashed is the pinnacle of Sonic the Hedgehog. But first, let's get a little background. Like I said before, Sonic Team was kind of on their last legs. The releases of Shadow, Secret Rings, and 06 crippled Sega as a whole. While the games did sell well, Sonic's reputation was essentially completely gone. So when Sonic Team was creating their next Sonic game, they were pushing everything they could into this game. It would look stunning, Sonic would be incredibly fast, the music sounded amazing, and there was this weird thing being teased. People at the time thought it was perhaps a new enemy Sonic would have to duke it out with, but little did they know that it would be Sonic. Like I said before, when Unleashed released, the game was met with mixed responses. I played the game first in 2022, which is the year I actually played most Sonic games back to back. I really didn't know what to expect when I started playing Sonic Unleashed. At this time, my favorite Sonic games were Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Adventure 2, and I had no real experience with the boost formula. I played a little bit of Colors Ultimate on my friend's Switch, but well, that went well as might as you think it did. And at that point, I heard absolute horror stories about the Hedgehog. But when I watched that intro cinematic, when I saw the gameplay, and when I first heard, "Here we go!" I knew I was into something special. I played Unleashed throughout its entirety, and I loved almost every second of it. With only a couple of minor hitches, I adored my time with Sonic Unleashed, and I honestly think it was amazing. From the gameplay to the story to the world building, Unleashed is just amazing. Let's start with how the game looks like first and foremost. What an insanely pretty Sonic game. Apart from Sonic Forces, which is, as of the making of this video, in my eyes is the best looking Sonic game of all time, Sonic Unleashed rivals it, which is kind of crazy. I love exploring the hub worlds and just looking, appreciating just how pretty the game is. I wish there was a day and night cycle in the hub worlds, because the worlds at sunrise and sunset would look just stunning. Can you imagine an open world Sonic game but it looks like this? That would be a dream of mine, honestly. But yeah, graphically Unleashed is a top 3 Sonic game. Sonic's design as well is one of my favorites of his modern incarnation. He looks really good and is animated amazingly, especially if we are talking about that opening animation, which is pure eye candy, and my favorite opening in Sonic history. Mars the Animation Planet absolutely outdid themselves. But of course, the main part of a video game is not how it looks, but how it plays. The level design in Sonic Unleashed is just wow. Without a doubt, this is the best level design in modern Sonic history, rivaling the level designs of only the adventure games. This absolutely clears Generations and Colors level design. Blasting through as Sonic has never, and apparently will never, felt better. For those who watched my video on Sonic Generations, to be fair, who hasn't at this point? First off, thank you very much, but second, know that one of the most important things in a Sonic game for me is the ranking system. Many people know that I absolutely do not like the ranking systems in Generations and Colors, as those are either ridiculously easy to get an S rank, or rely on a gimmick such as the Wisps. Unleashed, though, has neither. When playing the stage for the first time, there is no way you will ever get an S rank first try. Only by mastering the level design, finding shortcuts, playing near perfectly, and not dying once will you achieve that sweet, sweet S rank. And that is just one of the reasons why the daytime stage in Unleashed absolutely curb stomp any of the 3D boost level. Let's talk about all these levels, starting off with the one and only Windmill Isle.
Here we go!
The opening stage of Sonic Unleashed is also one of the best in the franchise, and you're gonna hear me say this a lot because the levels in Sonic Unleashed are absolutely amazing. Starting off with the level design. Act 2 in particular is full of those super cool Sonic Unleashed shortcuts that will keep popping up throughout every level. Act 1 is our intro stage and is built extremely well. The stage will teach you everything you need to know how to play as modern Sonic and what is part of his arsenal. I also adore how levels fit together in this game. Act 1 starts on the outskirts of the city and ends as you run into it, and Act 2 takes place entirely in said city, with the absolutely beautiful environment that is Apatos. All locations in Sonic Unleashed are based on real-life locations. Apatos, for example, is based on the Greek cities of Mykonos and Santorini, and captured the beauty of those cities extremely well. All in all, this is the peak stage, and if this stage was remade instead of Rooftop Run in Generations, I would not have minded at all. Savannah Citadel is another amazing stage. The stage is all about drifting and teaching you how important this move is. The stage's level design does compensate for this with having massive sections where you can easily drift and learn how to use this move. The whole level isn't just drifting though. There are a lot of other insanely fun parts. Whether you're climbing the massive baobab tree or running on the walls, this stage is fun as hell. It's also based on the real-life city of Timbuktu, Mali, where you can clearly see a city that Savannah Citadel was based off of. Overall, great stage. But it only gets better from here. Cool Edge is one of my favorite levels in Sonic history, without a doubt. First of all, the level design is actually peak. So many cool shortcuts, so many fun gimmicks, and also whale. And I'm not talking about your mother. The highlight has to be the bobsledding section. It's such a cool change of pace from the snowboarding section that we have in many Sonic games, and it is so much fun. The environment is just amazing. Based on the native tribes of the Arctic regions, I love this location. I've always been a sucker for snow levels, and stages such as Cool Edge are the reason I love them so much. I also grew up in an area where it was cold during the winter and snowed, so that may be another factor. In the end, Cool Edge is genuinely one of the most fun I've had in a video game. Dragon Road is another banger. The way the level is made is really cool. You have your signature gotta go fast parts where you blast through and quickly react to obstacles, but you also have these rotating discs that you must carefully platform up before blasting away at Sonic speeds. I also forgot to mention, but Cool Edge introduced running on water into Sonic Unleashed, and Dragon Road continues to use that trend in its level design. This is also where we are introduced to our first two mini-bosses in daytime Sonic stages, called the Interceptor. Yeah, I had to go on the Sonic Wiki for this one because I have at least some life to not know what the hell this is in Sonic Unleashed. Anyway, pretty cool boss. He shoots lasers and he tries to hit you as you gotta avoid incoming bombs. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Dragon Road is based off the mountain ranges of China, such as the Huangshan mountain range. Overall, it is a really fun stage.
Here we go!
Words cannot describe how much I love Rooftop Run. This is also one of the best levels in Sonic history. Just like with most levels in this game, the amount of extremely fun skips and time saves is ridiculous. The level design is so much fun with so many sections where you have to quickly react to oncoming obstacles. From climbing this massive, beautiful clock tower, to rail grinding above the city, and to literally running on rooftops. I love this level. This stage is based on European countries that take inspiration from France, Italy, and UK, blending it into an amazing zone that deserves to be known as one of the best in Sonic history. Sonic is in the US of A! Yeah! Freedom, liberty, justice, guns! Skyscraper Scamper is another really good stage. While not on the level of Cool Edge or Rooftop Run in my eyes, the stage is really fun. I mean, it's America after all. Freedom, baby! While not as many as Rooftop Run, Skyscraper Scamper has quite a bit of really fun shortcuts. The only thing that I outright dislike about this stage is the fact that this is the easiest S rank by far. While you won't get an S rank first try, an A rank is very plausible. But otherwise, it's a blast to go through. Arid Sands is an amazing stage. This used to be one of my favorite stages of all time until I just replayed the game and lost interest. It's filled to the brim with a bunch of skips and so many fun sections as you run through the city before entering the desert and running through the ruins of Shumar. Speaking of Shumar, the country is based on real-life Middle Eastern countries such as the UAE and Qatar. Overall, while I don't love this stage as much as I used to, it's still a really fun one. Now this stage is the pinnacle of the Unleashed Day stages. By far the longest daytime stage, Jungle Joyride is one of my favorite stages in the game. This level literally has every gimmick Unleashed ever introduced. Running on water, drifting, QTEs, quick stepping, you name it, this level has it. This leads to some of the best level design in the Sonic franchise. So you absolutely can bet your grandma's life savings that this stage will have a load of amazing skips. The location is based on the islands of the Philippines and Indonesia, and it looks just stunning. Overall, I genuinely love this stage so much, and only one stage in this game beats it. But of course, this game doesn't have just Sonic, or rather, this stage has another version of Sonic. No, we have a brand new gimmick, the Werehog. Now, this is where the horror stories come from. I have heard people genuinely refer to the Werehog as if he murdered their entire family lineage. But I really enjoy it. Not the killing the family lineage, but the actual Werehog. Let's get that clear. The Werehog may not be peak gameplay, and it definitely doesn't hold a candle to the daytime stages, but I really enjoy its gameplay. While I agree the Werehog starts out pretty bad, once you level him up, he becomes a joy to play as. Again, not as good as those daytime stages. The combos are actually pretty good too. While they aren't as in-depth as games such as DMC5 or God of War, it's really fun. The only thing that remains something that I don't like throughout every stage is whenever you encounter enemies, this stupid jazz song plays. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty good song, but like, you hear it every 2 seconds, it gets really annoying. But let's talk about each level in detail. Yes, I'm that insane to talk about the stages twice. Alright, you ready? Let's go. Woo!
Let's do this!
Just like Windmill Isle being day stage to teach you how to play as Sonic, Windmill Isle Night teaches you how to play as the Werehog, and it does so pretty well, all things considered. Level design is great when it comes to Werehog levels, and it's just pretty inoffensive. The big minus when it comes to these first couple of levels is that your Werehog is very underpowered, and these first levels might be the worst ones. But this one, yeah, it's pretty good. Savannah Citadel Night is probably one of my least favorite stages in the game. There are way too many enemies for such an underpowered Werehog, and there's way too many pushing and pulling as well as ending with an enemy room where the egg pawns just keep on respawning. Overall, it's a pretty mid stage, and I don't have really anything else to say about it.
Let's do this!
By Cool Edge, your Werehog should be a lot more powerful, and it's a lot more fun. The level design is much better than the previous 2 levels, and the gimmicks in said levels are amazing too, with these icicles that fall, and these ice pillars that also fall. Also, I love this innovative gimmick where you have to hit this fire enemy before picking it up and melting sections of the ice in order to clear a path for you. There also aren't too many enemies, and overall, the level design is pretty fire. Dragon Road is another sort of great Werehog stage. There are some really fun parts, but the water being insta-kill is pretty annoying. And there's actually ironically a lot more of it here than there is in Cool Edge. But otherwise, it's a pretty enjoyable stage. The level design is actually real fun, with a lot of pole swinging and some real fun platforming. Overall, yeah, it's a pretty good stage. Just like with the daytime version of the stage, Rooftop Run Night might be some of the most fun I've had playing as the Werehog. This single stage clears any wisp, I'm sorry. From traversing the beautiful city of Spagonia to climbing up that amazing clock tower, this is just an incredible stage environment-wise. But man, the level design is incredible as far as the Werehog stages go. While the stage does have enemy rooms, by this point you can sweep through them and quickly get through the level. The highlight has to be, as I previously mentioned, climbing inside the clock tower. It's one of my favorite set pieces in Sonic history, both in daytime and in nighttime, and makes for just an absolutely amazing experience. Then balancing along the clock hands and making it to the end, man, just what an amazing experience! Skyscraper Scamper was a stage I struggled on quite a bit at first. When I first played this stage, there was a lot of falling off skyscrapers instead of scampering on them. But as I played the stage more and more, I slowly started mastering it until I finally figured it out. And then the stage started to be really damn good. The level design can be daunting at first, but mastering the stage is very fun and quite satisfying. Here's a small tip. The poles that you have to balance on that break off, you can just simply walk along them and you will not fall off. This is something that I didn't know when I first played it, but it is a lot easier knowing this simple fact. I should probably also mention that a massive part of why I enjoy the Werehog stages is the replayability. Just like with any goated Sonic game, you have to first master the level design before cruising through the levels and grabbing S ranks, and the Werehog is no different. Skyscraper Scamper would fit this description perfectly, as when you first play the stage, it can be very difficult, but as soon as you master it, it's a piece of cake. Banger stage. Alright, now this is the worst Werehog stage. Arid Sands Night sucks hard. This is one of the worst, if not the worst stage in the game. Here's the thing, the stage isn't inherently difficult at all, in fact. In order to move on, you have to find these 4 switches and place them near a door, where you can pretty much beeline to the end. The thing is, these switches are hidden pretty awfully. Not to mention this awful balcony, man. I honestly don't know if there's a way to survive this. But otherwise, it's just an okay stage at best, and is one of the worst Werehog levels, bar to none. But Jungle Joyride Night is the complete opposite. The stage is tied with Rooftop Run Night as my favorite Werehog stage in the game. Platforming is incredibly fun, and there are so many fun sections of the level. The environment is my favorite of all night stages, only tied with the Rooftop Run like I said before. The level design is really fun, and while falling into the water is a massive concern, at this point you should be skilled enough with the Werehog that it shouldn't be much of a problem at all. The stage design itself is some of the best the Werehog ever sees in the game. I really love this level, and it's honestly one of the reasons I really like the Werehog. I should mention here that there's also these plane sections before entering Spagoni and Eggman Land, and these are just sorta okay. I just don't think they're good, nor are they really bad. It's just sorta nothing, I'm gonna be honest. And the Egg Cauldron boss is just also nothing. It's a lot of clicking the button in quick succession, and that's it. But like with any Sonic game, none of these stages, whether day or night, would be as impactful without the music. Spearheaded by, in my eyes, the best Sonic composer of all time, Tomoya Otani. This is one of the best OSTs in video game history. Yeah, I said it. The only Sonic OST that is better than this one, and that is very debatable, would be Sonic 06, but that's its own video for a separate time. Every single song, whether it's the grand and amazing opening piece, any of the upbeat day stages, or the chill and calm night stages, are pure peak. There really isn't a miss when it comes to this OST, and that includes the cutscene music too, which I normally dislike or just don't care for. Speaking of the cutscenes, let's talk about the story. Unleashed's story is without a doubt one of the best in the franchise. Starting off with an insanely amazing opening to the very end where Sonic looks at the sun rising, reflecting on everything he just went through. The story is just peak. The main villain also being this massive eldritch being that lives in the core of the planet is badass, and I love how Eggman is still not out of the picture until the very end. The story also tackles such amazing things like friendship and loyalty, and does it so masterfully. The story is best summed up in this cutscene.
So you were asleep all this time? For millions of years?
Yes, for ages and ages.
I bet it's thanks to you. Even at night when I'm like this, I'm still myself, not like all the other people we've seen. You must have been protecting me this whole time.
I haven't done anything, Sonic. You're the reason you haven't changed at all. You're too strong to lose yourself.
I'm the reason?
Yeah, you never doubt yourself, no matter what. You never give in to the night or the darkness inside your heart. I think it's because I knew that about you. That's why I wanted you to help me. It's been so fun, getting to see the world. I've lived here since the planet began, but I didn't know a thing about it. That it's so pretty, or that food tastes so good, or that people are so nice. I'm so glad I got the chance to discover all that with you, and I'm so glad that you helped me find my memory. Sonic, I will never, ever forget you. Thank you, Sonic. Goodbye, friend.
Hey!
Whoa, what?
Where do you think you're off to all by yourself?
What? But my memory is back now, and, well, from here on out, it's my responsibility, so, I mean, there's no reason for you to come along, so I should just...
Do I need a reason to want to help out a friend?
Thanks, Sonic.
Man, I love this game's story, and in my eyes, it's the second best ever, only second to Black Knight. Chips and Sonic's relationship in this game is just a beautiful thing to watch, and I just love how they bond together and become great friends. But Unleashed doesn't bring back a serious and great story from the late 90s and early 2000s. It also brings back the hub worlds from Sonic 06, and these were a pleasant surprise when I first played the game. I've always loved the idea of having these small open worlds before entering a stage, and Unleashed does it great. I love exploring them and talking with the locals. It's just another wonderful addition to the game that just makes it better. Next, let's talk about the bosses in the game. While I won't go into detail with each boss, I can safely say there are some really fun ones and just overall mediocre ones. Really good ones like the Egg Lancer and the Egg Devil Ray are just extremely fun. But there are some really subpar ones, like the Dark Guardian or the Dark Moray. But all these bosses thematically and gameplay wise pale in comparison to the greatest boss in the 2000s era, the Egg Dragoon. Now, I said my piece on this boss in this video right here, and all I can say is that I love it so much. This is by far the best Werehog boss in the game, and it's one of the best uses of the gimmick. The music is also one of the best tracks in Sonic history. If you want my full thoughts on this boss, I recommend watching this video, which will be in the description. But to get to this boss, you have to play through one of my favorite levels in video game history. One that puts everything you've ever learned to the test. Eggman Land.
Here we go!
The final zone in Sonic Unleashed, this is by far one of the most difficult levels in Sonic history, and honestly, as someone who just loves a challenge, this was an amazing stage to go through. A true test of your skills, Eggman Land will make sure you master this game before you finish it. By switching from Werehog to Sonic on the go, with every gimmick of the game ever being thrown at you, insanely hard level design, and 2 peak songs, this is truly a top 5 level in Sonic history. I would never use the excuse of skill issues seriously in any argument, because it's a dumb argument frankly, but if it were to apply anywhere, it would have to be in Eggman Land. Because, honestly, it never throws at you something that you've never played through before. It's just the same gimmicks, but a lot harder. All in all, I have to say that I adore this stage and will defend it forever. But when you defeat this ultimate challenge, take down Eggman at the core of the earth, you see it. Fully formed. Dark Gaia. This being that has been trying to stop you this whole time, the one that infected Sonic and turned him into the Werehog, the one who will destroy life as we know it once it has fully reformed, it just looks terrifying. Things seem bleak, but Chip, or really Light Gaia, summons all the temples that you've been traveling across the entire world for and makes a suit of armor known as the Gaia Colossus. Sonic recovers, and with Chip they must stop Dark Gaia. This first part of the boss is admittedly kinda mid. It honestly is just not fun to play as the Gaia Colossus, but the Sonic parts are really fun. And as soon as you think you've defeated the boss, Dark Gaia achieves its final form. Perfect Dark Gaia. This is the moment when Sonic realizes he must go super. And now it's time. Super Sonic versus Perfect Dark Gaia. This is one of the best supersonic bosses prior to the Frontiers fights of all time. This boss clears Final Hazard and Perfect Chaos, and is one of the most satisfying conclusions in Sonic history. As an instrumental piece of the main theme Endless Possibility plays, you finally destroy this being, as Chip sends Sonic back up as he's slowly consumed by the lava, and falls back into slumber. Sonic crashes right back to where our journey began, and this cutscene is genuinely one of the best in the franchise's history.
Ow! Huh?
I'll never forget you. I'll be here by you, always. A part of the earth you tread.
And then, the credits play, with one of the best Sonic themes of all time, and just like that, this absolutely amazing journey is over. Sonic Unleashed is without a doubt one of the best Sonic games of all time. The beautiful story, climactic end, phenomenal soundtrack, amazingly fun gameplay, and just an all-around polished experience make Unleashed, in my eyes, without a doubt, the pinnacle of Sonic the Hedgehog. So thank you all so much for watching this absolute monster of a video. This might actually be one of the longest videos I have ever created, and I really hope you all enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day wherever you all are in the world. I love you all, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao.
This is my escape. I'm running through this world and I'm not looking back.